Okay, so last time I did not get on to hashes because I was nearing the 10-minute mark in my video and didn't feel like adding more to that video. So let's get into hashes. Okay, so hashes are basically just like arrays, but they're a little different. Let me explain. This is an array, like 1, 2, 3. A hash could be like this. Either usually you do it like this. It could be 1 points to 1, then 2 points to 2, so on and so forth. So basically, a hash is a key value pair, so that makes it a little bit different from an array in that every key points to a value, whereas in an array it's just indexed. So instead of saying like you would array of 0, you do hash of and then whatever the key is. So the key is always on the left. It's also on the left side of this arrow, which is known as a hash rocket. And it allows you to basically make a custom index, and that is the key. So each key points to a value. You can do it just like this with strings as keys, integers as values. You can do like this, where you have what are called symbols as values, and then just like that. So a symbol is a colon in front, and then the hash rocket and the value. Or you could do it like this. You could do it like this, where instead of this whole redundancy, you can kind of do a shorthand for symbols, and instead of the hash rocket and the colon being on the left, you put the colon on the right and make it key value pair like that. It's less keystrokes. Of course, you can also take this concept and do something like this, where you have an array, so your key points to an array, or anything like that. You can do strings, all sorts of stuff. And if you remember from last time in my second video, the tutorial, this one being the third, we learned about something called array.each, do element, and then this does something with each element. There's also that for hashes, except it's just a tad bit different. So you have your hash here, and then you can say hash.each do, and you have to do key value, because now it's not just an element. See, each element in a hash is technically composed of a key and a value. So when you iterate through the hash, you say do key value. So you declare a variable to store the key, and you declare another variable to store the value. So then you can do something. You can do something with the key or something with value. You could do either or, either and or whatever. So I can say puts key, puts value, and then if I go over here and save the file, then I run hash.rb, it'll just say, just like that, it prints it out. So if I say, let's make this a little bit more readable, we say print key. I went over concatenation in the first one. If not, I will explain it right now. Concatenation is you can place a value inside of a string by doing this hash and then curly braces, and you can put an expression or a variable inside the curly braces, and that will print out like a string. So let's do this now. /n is a new line character. Don't worry about it that much. Just makes it look better. Oh, didn't save it. Okay, save it. And here we go. So 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and then let's say print out key is A. Let's do like this. Key is A, and then we'll say key.class print value is A, and then we'll say value.class. .class returns the data type of an object. So if it's a string, it'll return string. If it's an integer, it'll return integer. So let's do this. Do /n. Gotta do /n or else it just looks funky, as you can see. So 1 to 1 with the key being a string, the value being a fixed num. Fixed num is the same as an integer, same over here. So what if we change the hash right here to the second hash where our keys are symbols, but they're written out with the longhand syntax. Let's see what happens. Great. Here we go. Look at that. Key is a symbol, but otherwise kind of the same flow. Let's do it with the third one. So note that, oh, yeah, I had two #3, so let me make this #4. Okay, so note that the second hash and the third hash both have the same data types for keys and values respectively, but #2 is using longhand and #3 is using shorthand. So let me just prove to you that it is the same. See, same thing, same exact thing, just like before. Let's do the fourth hash with the strings and arrays and whatever. So let's do the fourth one, save the file again, and we see this output. So it prints out that the value at key of A is an array, B points to a string. The keys are still symbols. This is basically hashes. So hashes can be used to store all sorts of things, and if you think about it, it's kind of the baseline of a lot of web applications. So this has practical applications in the real world. So a lot of web apps have a hash that goes something like session equals to, and then you have like a user ID, and then that's a symbol that points to some number, and then you have a user name which points to ideally a string like Bobby or whatever. Don't forget to put commas, and then think about what would happen if they did something like this: password equals 1 2 3 4. So that leaves the password out there. So that if you want to look into it, passwords are usually kept under some form of obfuscation. So password real world would be something like whatever. It's just a really long, senseless string of characters just like this. So keep that in mind. Anyways, that is hashes. Please subscribe or like this video, comment if you have any questions. See you next time.